Welcome in, Dween Nation. We are the Dween Sports Podcast, and we are just about to get started. But before we do, we'd love if you could like, comment, subscribe, and share so we can continue to be your fantasy sports podcast. Thanks for being part of Dween Nation, and enjoy the show. Welcome in, Dween Nation. This is your host, Justin Pies, alongside Genoa Agudelo, and we got not one, not two, but three guests for this mock draft episode here on July 13th. Victor Pies is back on the pod. You've seen him multiple times before. Cooper Griffin, you've seen on the pod before. And we got Trey Kraft, longtime friend, longtime fantasy foe. And he is on the pod today. Super excited. And I want to intro with asking you, Trey, how does it feel to be on the pod and how are you doing?
Dude, I'm excited. I've been watching it on TikTok and stuff. It's always on my feed. So just excited to be a part of this and get drafted and get ready for the season.
I love that. Yes, Dream Nation, we are on TikTok posting just about every day as much as we can. But yes, thanks, Trey, for being here. Cooper, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Excited for this draft and do some practicing because, it's only like a month and a half before NFL starts again.
Oh, yeah. I think yeah. And you, Dad, how does it feel to be back? Another mock draft?
I'm doing great. I love these mock drafts because, you're getting that itch to start this draft. And so let's get it going. So we love it.
I'm ready to go, too. And before we do start, how's my brother Genoa doing?
Yo, Dewey Nation, guys! I'm excited to do another mock draft. I added another guy here in Trey Kraft. The more people, the better, so you can practice and get these computers out the way. They kind of make some weird selections along the way, but very excited, man. I'm excited to see what teams we come up with today.
All right, let's get down to it. It's a 10-team mock draft. It's half PPR, and if you look at it, we have me at third. We got Genoa at fifth. We got Victor Zukru at 6th. We got Cooper at 8th, and we got Trey at 10th. So we're pretty well spread out. We're going to see a battle between Genoa and Victor throughout this draft, snipers either way. And then Trey's the only one that's got double picks in a row, which is always fun to do. I will technically start us off out of us drafting, which I'm really excited to do because I feel like picks 1 and 2 are pretty right up the alley. To me, it is Bijan or Jamar Chase. And so if you're first, you get one of them. If you're second, you get the other one. But then when you get to the third pick, which is where I am at, I think it's kind of a tough decision because I actually like all four. To me, it's between 5 guys actually that all I think are viable spots for third overall. CeeDee Lamb, Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon Barkley, Puka Nacua, and Justin Jefferson. So when I'm looking at here, I believe last draft I was at pick 8 and I went Puka Nacua because I love what Puka's got this year. But now I want to see what it looks like to have a running back start my draft. So now I'm going to cut it down to Saquon and Jahmyr Gibbs. And when you look at both teams, Saquon, obviously, people are like, he was the running back 1, and he's going in kind of the same situation besides a change at offensive coordinator. But I think I'm going to go with him because that O-line, the way that this kind of a crazy stat, but Saquon Barkley fell down at the 1-yard line 7 times last year. He was 1 yard away from getting a touchdown himself. And as you know, when they get to the 1-2 yard line, it's a Jalen Hurts tush push. I'm going to give that more this way to Saquon this year. So I'm going to go with Saquon at 3.
All right. So that leaves me with the 5th pick. There's so many good options here. But in the last mock we did, I got Jefferson around the same spot. So I'm going to change things up here and actually go with CeeDee Lamb. Even though Puka Nacua stared me in the eye right there, I like CeeDee Lamb just as much as Puka. There's so many ways you can go here. But since I haven't gotten CeeDee in any of these mocks yet, I'm gonna go with CeeDee Lamb here.
I told you, there's the first snipe, the first round. I can't believe it. I love CeeDee Lamb. I love Jefferson, but with the new quarterback, you don't know how he's going to perform. And of course, any quarterback with Justin Jefferson, he's going to do well. So, of course, I'm not going to pass up on my man, JJ.
Hey, Jettis is off the board, then Puka, and now we're at Cooper.
All right. This 8th pick, this is the range I don't really love, but got to practice it. And with this pick, I'm going to go for Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, CMC.
Wow,
he's one of those guys, same story as CMC the last 5 years. If he's been dealing with injuries, if he's healthy, he's going to be the best player in the league. But the question is if he can stay healthy. I should think at pick 8, he's one of those guys that it's worth the risk because if he can stay healthy, no brainer. He's gonna have a breakout year.
I'm curious. What were you battling with McCaffrey? Who would be the other guy that you were thinking about?
So with me, I think Genty's talented. I don't like picking a rookie running back in first round, mostly probably because my CTE in years past with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But I mean, other guys around. I mean, I do like Derrick Henry. I wouldn't be mad about a guy picking Derrick Henry late first round. I mean, other guys, Amon St. Brown, I like, but I think CMC, the upside is just too much for him, especially like other guys. Like Malik Neighbors is another guy I think's a little underrated, but I can't trust who's going to throw him the ball. I mean, it's going to be in New York, we don't know if it's going to be Russ, Winston, Art. And I think it's going to be one of those things that's throughout this year, all three QBs going to be starting. So I think it's a safer option just get CMC.
I kind of want Winston, though. I would love to see some Jameis to Malik.
Exactly. Yeah. Winston's going to chunk it.
Targets a game, 3 touchdowns. I could just see it. But anyways, all right, Cooper, we're moving on to Trey now at pick 10. You got 2 picks.
All right, with my 2 picks, I know exactly who I'm taking here because I really like both these guys going into the season. But quickly, I would have loved to have Neighbors here. I think just the LSU guys, besides Chase and Jefferson, I think Malik Neighbors is the most reliable receiver this year in the draft. He had like 170. I think that was the number of targets last year. A lot of them. So they're going to throw him the ball. He gets the ball in pretty much any way, any setting when they're on the field. I really would have liked to have him, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick Nico Collins just because that's one of my – I'm a fan favorite there. I'm a Texans fan.
I like Nico.
Every time I watch this guy play, run after catch, going up and getting it, screens, deep balls over the middle, out. Like, he's getting it in every way. CJ Stroud loves throwing him the ball. Not worried about him putting up points for me. And for my second pick, honestly, if this guy – if A-Chain really here was not as injury prone as he was, I'd be picking him. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select Ashton Genty here. I really like what he's got going into the year. He's got a perfect size for an NFL running back. Everyone who watched him in college, like, they can say he didn't play anyone. He almost beat Oregon, and Oregon was the best team in the nation. Right. I mean, he's coming into a Raiders offense that needs a spark. They already have Bowers, but that's a tight end, and I think Jenny's going to be that guy.
And they're saying that Nico Collins could be number 1 receiver he's capable of being number 1 receiver.
I think he was like the wide receiver 2 until he got that injury that sat him out for 4 weeks.
Yeah,
he has a potential. He can do it.
Also, I pondered him and Michael Pittman for about 10 minutes. Like, the whole time last year, I picked Pittman, so I'm never passing up Nico ever again. Big mistake I made.
That must have hurt.
Gosh. Yes.
All right, Cooper, you're back up. What do you got here?
All right, for me, it's really between 2 guys, Amon St. Brown, Derrick Henry. And since I already have a running back, I'm going to get St. Brown, which in my opinion, he should never fall into second round because he's going to be number 1 target on that high explosive Detroit offense. And I see no reason why he can't be doing the same thing he did last year.
Yeah, I'm interested because if you had gone Derrick Henry, you would have probably had to name your team name like Jurassic Park because you would have had the old heads. But I like that. That was a smart pick there. What do you got, Dad?
I'm telling you, I mean, it falls to me again. I know he's a dinosaur, but I think he still has 2 solid years left here. So I want to pick receiver, but I think I'm still going with the running back with Derrick Henry. He's going to put up some more numbers again this year.
Okay, all right. See, I knew you were going to go that way, so I was like, I got a second option. I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs. I love what he did last year in his first season with the Packers. I think he's still going to get the same volume that he did last year. He's a touchdown magnet, and so give me Josh Jacobs as my second pick.
That is a really good pick, and honestly, this draft has gone in the worst way possible for me because my favorite 17 players are off the board. Because now we jump to the next kind of tier for me where I could kind of pick between Jonathan Taylor, Bucky Irving, Kyron Williams, Chase Brown, wide receivers, A.J. Brown, Ladd McConkey, who I really like. And then I don't think I'm going to jump this early on Brock Bowers or on a quarterback. So it leaves me with these 2 positions. But looking at it here, Bucky really stepped up last year, and I think that he's going to be kind of just as good as he was last year. He might even get more work. Which makes me want to think that could be the way. But then I really also like Chase Brown, a guy who stepped into his role last year with the Moss injury and then he was the RB6 once he became the starter. And so he absolutely balled out. He gets receptions. And even though this team is pass first, you're like, maybe he's not going to get those touches. Joe Burrow will rely on him as a check down merchant. That's why I think I want to go this way, this direction. And for those to me who are worried about Zach Moss coming back, the reports are saying he's currently listed as RB4 on the depth chart under Samaje Perine and Taj Brooks. So he is not going to make any splash there. So I'm going to do it. It's a little bit of a reach because he's going kind of early third right now, but I'm going to go with Chase Brown here.
Wow.
And then since I'm back up, Bowers goes, Irving goes, Ladd goes, which is what I kind of was that one I was close with going for Ladd or AJ Brown. So now I'm back up here, and I could go with JSN. I could go with one of these running backs to really complete a really solid trio of running backs. I think that's what I'm gonna do. But now the question is between Kyron and Jonathan Taylor. Both guys were good. I think Taylor, I would really, really like if Daniel Jones was the starter over Anthony Richardson, because if it's AR, he averaged 5 points less per game with AR compared to when it was another quarterback or Joe Flacco. So that makes me want to lean that way because Daniel Jones is slotted to be the starter. But then if you look at Kyron Williams, he has been just a great player. I feel like he's been doubted for the last 2 years since he became a starter, and he's still balled out. So I'm going to go with Kyron Williams here and have 3 running backs to start my draft.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going wide receiver, so that changes things up for me. Let me see. I think I might. He's too early. Too early. Man. This one's very tough here. Call me crazy though. I don't know what his status is going into this year, but he was the number 1 wide receiver before he got hurt. I think I want to go Rashee Rice here.
I'm telling you.
Whoa.
I know. I just he's got one of the best quarterbacks throwing to him, and you got to think about what he's been able to do. And he got hurt early in last year, so I think he should be good to go. I don't know if his legal status situation, if that's cleared yet, but with everything being cleared, he's healthy. He's got nothing legal hanging over his head going into the season. I like Rashee Rice.
See, that's like 2 that you sniped from me, Genoa. 2. I was going to do Rashee Rice, and the reason I was going to do is I don't think he's going to serve any time where they're going to take games away from him. My position now to pick, I want to go another wide receiver because they're getting a little bit. T. Higgins, I don't see him doing not even a smidge what Lamar Jackson would do, or even Tyreek Hill or JSN. And I usually don't want to pick a quarterback this early, but if they're going to rush it, I'm going to either get it with Derrick Henry or Lamar Jackson, baby.
Oh, that's an interesting combo there.
I have to. I mean, there's no.
I mean, you're getting a touchdown. You're getting any Baltimore touchdown is probably you. So yeah, I like that. That's really solid. All right, we'll throw it to you, Coop. You picked McCaffrey. You picked Amon-Ra.
Yeah, right here. Man, am I really gonna have the injury draft? I'm gonna take best player available in my opinion. I'm gonna do T. Higgins.
Oh,
it's another guy kind of like McCaffrey. When he's healthy, you know what you're gonna get for him. But big question: can he stay healthy? Last year, when he was healthy in that Bengals offense next to Jamar Chase, he was unstoppable. So I'm betting on that, hoping he has a little bit more luck when it comes to health. Because if he stays healthy, he's easily top 10 receiver in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think it's good though with your lineup how you got it stacked up here. You got Amon-Ra, who's probably one of the safest receivers in the draft, and then you got an upside play because T. Higgins was if I'm not wrong, he was the wide receiver 3 in points per game. So games he played, he was an absolute stud. So I like that there. What do you got though, Trey?
With my pick coming up, I'm kind of pondering between 2 receivers right now. One, I mean, according to this site, would be a little bit of a stretch, and the other one's the best guy available. But honestly, just when I think about it, I mean, Metcalf's gone, I'm picking JSN. I just like him this year.
Yeah.
Young
He's
guy,
gonna be number 1 on
gets
the
the
team
ball
for
a lot
sure.
of ways. He's gonna get targets. Then next coming up, I've been looking at it. I'm gonna take another running back just because I kind of want that. You have to have running backs to be good nowadays. I feel like. And looking at it, there's one guy. I'll just go ahead and say. I mean, I'm not gonna take James Cook here. I want to, but odds are this guy's not gonna get 16 touchdowns again. I feel like it's just probably not gonna happen. And I'll just go ahead and pick him. I mean, this guy's always seems to be the top guy when he's playing. He's old, but give me Alvin Kamara, man.
Hey,
He's good. You know how many catches he's gonna get? He's probably going to get at least 70 catches.
I think he had more than that.
Yeah, at least. That's the minimum.
Yeah, and with the rookie quarterback, that guy's going to be checking it down like crazy. I just know it. So, I'm a fan.
I'm going to take a guy that I think he's going to have a down year compared to what he has been in the past, but I still have to take Tyreek Hill.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Like, I know I don't trust Miami this much this year. I just have a feeling they're going to have a bad year. And Tyreek, man, I mean, even though he's getting up there in age, he's still the fastest player in the league, if not top 3. And he's still going to have those games where out of nowhere he's going to have an 80-yard, 70-yard touchdown. And he's just too dynamic a player to fall for the 4th round. That's a good pick.
Yeah, and I think they got rid of Jonnu, so I think that's a plus for Devon Achane, I think mostly, but also that means all those targets that went to Jonnu instead of Tyreek should hopefully go his way.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to make Jano sweat because I don't think this has ever been done, picking quarterback to quarterback from 3rd to 4th round. And I'm going to pick Mike Evans. I'm going to pick, of course, a person that is going to get 100 catches again or more, and he's going to lead the receiving corps in Tampa Bay.
I was going running back, so let me go with James Cook there. I need a running back there to go with Josh Jacobs, and he's pretty much the lead guy in Buffalo. Was it Ray Davis, and who else is there, Justin, in Buffalo? I'm not really too worried about it. Yeah, so I think even James Cook can be really good out of the backfield catching, getting a couple receiving touchdowns from Josh Allen, who just got picked by Team Forbes. Other than that, I do need a running back, and I think James Cook is a good pick here in round 4.
Like it there. For me, obviously, I've gone 3 wide receivers, so I need to look at the wide receiver room. I mean, I've gone 3 running backs, so I need to look at the wide receiver room. But I'm also looking at the quarterback room. I really hate that Josh Allen went right before my pick because I probably would have done that. But looking at it, it's Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, or Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Marvin Harrison are there. I do have Kyron Williams, but I'm not gonna downgrade Devontae too much with that news. To be honest with you, a guy I'm actually really high on is Garrett Wilson. I think that although this offense has, not been great the last couple of years since Garrett Wilson's, been drafted, you bring in his college teammate who I think is just going to pepper him with targets like crazy, him and Justin Fields. That's what it's going to be. It's tough though, but and the other thing that I think could go either way is their new offensive coordinator was kind of Ben Johnson's understudy in Detroit. So if he comes in and maybe we see somewhat of a Ben Johnson offense, that'd be really good for Garrett Wilson. But there's also the risk that this team is just complete trash. But then you also have Marvin Harrison, who I think is going to step up in year 2. There's even Ken Walker. Even though I went through running backs, I do kind of like Ken Walker. And then I also, talking about Devontae Adams, a guy who joins a really strong team in the Rams. This is
you
tough.
like the last 10 players that you
I know. I'm naming everybody on the board. I'm gonna go with Garrett Wilson. I think that he's going to get I would argue 140, 150 plus targets. So I'm gonna go Garrett Wilson, and now I'm back on the board. Yay! With Jaden Daniels, Hurts gone off the board, Adams and Ken Walker off the board, and that leaves me with, to me, a decision of Joe Burrow or Marvin Harrison or even Chuba Hubbard. But I'm gonna go with Marvin Harrison to get 2 wide receivers on my team. And hope for some upside there.
Yeah, Justin, I like that pick a lot. I think people are forgetting how good of a prospect this guy was, and just because he didn't have the, I guess, equivalent to Jeremiah Smith's freshman year at Ohio State in the NFL, people are kind of down him. But I love that pick right there.
Thank you,
brother Justin. I you know what, Justin? If I'm being honest with you, I really want to get Joe Burrow right here, but something's telling me to just keep it skill position. But let's get another wide receiver, running back. Let's go with DK Metcalf. I think here in round 5, it's not bad. You got old man Rodgers throwing him the football. He's going to be the only guy there, I believe, in Pittsburgh. With outside of those 2 tight ends and Johnny Smith and Pat Fryermuth that they just they got there. I like DK. I think he's a solid guy, and I think old man Rodgers feeds him a lot this year. So let me go with DK here in the 5th round.
Good pick. This time you didn't snipe me, so which is good. He will do well. I think Metcalf will do good. I'm going on the route another running back here. I was contemplating over Connor and Mixon. I had both of them last year, but I'm going with Connor just because, they say he's getting old, but he's still getting the rock. They're giving him some passing and rushing. So I'm picking James Conner.
Hey, I mean, earlier I was talking about Cooper having to do Jurassic World as his team name, but I think you take the cake there with Derrick Henry, Mike Evans, and now James Conner on your team. You got
Yeah,
some
but they're a
old.
solid.
No, they're
old.
solid. Obviously, they're solid. They're solid. I'm just playing around. But all right, anyway, we'll move on.
And I was going to pick O'Marion Hampton, but I said, maybe just too little too.
The funny thing is, I've been eyeing Joe Mixon for the last 10 picks. That's the guy I was pretty close to taking. Not close. I was thinking about it. It was my 4th round pick, but Joe Mixon, late 5th round. I think Joe Mixon last year had a really solid season, especially the first half.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this year, the Texans offense is going to be a lot better this year, more consistent. Hopefully. So, and I think Joe Mixon, I know he's getting up there in age also, but I think last year he proven he has a lot more left in the tank.
What do you think about Chubskis being there, Mr. Nick Chubb?
Chubbs is very talented. I mean, again, another guy that's getting up there, but I mean, the last, 6-7 years besides last year, just dominated the NFL.
Right.
I think Joe Mixon, just based off what he did last year, I don't really see things changing. I think Chubbs is going to be more of a backup role. He maybe come in a little bit more on maybe some third down, maybe goal line. I mean, especially with that injury.
Yeah.
So I just that injury that happened not too long ago. I mean, what was it? Last year, the year before?
A couple seasons ago. He
Years
even
ago.
broke his foot this past season.
Yeah, I think if he was going to return to his former glory, it would have been last year in that Browns room with just being the Browns being the Browns.
Yeah.
So I trust Joe Mixon.
All right, for my pick coming up, I'm going to take one guy I think he's not severely undervalued, but I think I would put him a little bit higher on this list. I'm going to take DeAndre Swift. I think Ben Johnson's going to come in there. I mean, you see what he's been able to do with running backs in Detroit. They got a lot of weapons, yeah, so it's going to be hard for him to, I guess, get a lot of touches. But I feel like what Ben Johnson did do good is like with Gibbs and David Montgomery, there wasn't like a niche spot for them on the field. It wasn't like Montgomery's going to come in on the goal line and Gibbs is going to go down the field. He liked to keep him in like throughout the whole time. And I had Swift last year. All they would do is just take him out on the goal line. It would drive me crazy. And I feel like this year, whenever it's going to be Swift's drive, he's going to be able to finish that off. So good pick there. And for my next one, I mean, I'm gonna take Devontae Smith. The Eagles are rolling here. He's a good receiver.
Yeah.
Just picking him.
Smith.
I'm looking at my options. I'm looking at running back receiver because at this point in the draft, with the QB's taken, my opinion, you just gotta wait for the QB because out of these next 4 or 5 QBs, I don't really see much difference. I like Cortland Sutton this year because I think Bo Nix is going to have a lot better, or he had a good year last year, and I think he's going to build off of that, especially what he did in the second half of the season. And I think Cortland Sutton's going to be the number 1 target in Denver. I wouldn't be surprised if Cortland Sutton has his best or second best season next year. But I think it's going to come. But speaking of that, Broncos, I'm gonna take RJ Harvey.
Oh, okay. So take the upside.
Thank you, Griff.
I think Denver.
I wanted Sutton. Yeah. Thank you, my friend. Oh man, I wanted Sutton. I said, don't pick him up because he will do well this year.
Yeah,
I mean, Sutton. Yeah. Thank you,
Sutton. Yeah, he's gonna have a good year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was hoping you didn't pick him.
I'm gonna go with the guy that people are counting out, and he's only been in the league for like 3 or 4 seasons, and I'm going to go with Brian Robinson. I think I need another running back. I only have 2, and there's nothing wrong with getting depth here. And I just think that Robinson he's a workhorse, man. He's going to get you goal line TDs, and I think that Washington might stick to running the ball just a little bit more this season. And so give me Robinson. I need a third RB anyways.
I think that's a really good pick. And even Dwayne Nation, not to my horn, I did recently posted a Brian Robinson TikTok. Go check it out. I know you're right on the money. I think it's a great pick there. He's in a contract year 2 and on a really good offense and coming into the season healthy. I love it. Moving to me, I was looking at who I could go with. I agree with Cooper's sentiment that I don't want, after those top 5 guys go, I really don't feel the need to jump on the next set of guys this quickly. So I'm not going quarterback. Then we look at tight ends. They got Laporta. They got Hawkinson, Kelsey. None of those guys move me either. I'm in the same sentiment of talking about the quarterbacks. I feel like after the top 3 tight ends, it really jumps to a lower tier where I'm not going to rush into those. So now I'm going to jump into running backs and wide receivers again. And I'm kind of just going to pick best available because I have my flex secured with, Kyron, and then I got the 2 wide receivers. So I'm going to go with best player. And when I look at it, I want to go with the guy who I think has the best upside here. And unfortunately, with the news of Quinshon Judkins getting arrested, there might be some issues with him being on the team, him getting his guaranteed money. He actually, in fact, has not signed his rookie contract yet, so he could have just jeopardized his entire career. And so that means I'm going to look elsewhere, and I'm going to go with kind of the next best guy who I really like, a guy who is an explosive back, reminds me of like a Jahmyr Gibbs light version, and that is Travion Henderson, a guy who's going against Ramondre Stevenson in a backfield where I think Ramondre is just after his his breakout. To me, it hasn't been that shiny. It's not that impressive, and with the new coaching staff, they went out and they drafted Travion Henderson in the second. They inherited Ramondre, but I think they're going to want to build on that, and so I'm going Travion Henderson there for my running back. And then looking at my next pick here, I actually there's another rookie running back I really like, but I don't know if I want to already have my 5th running back this early when I only have 2 wideouts. And so I'm actually going to go with a guy who I think has a lot of upside as well, a guy who recently joined a new team. Improvement at quarterback in a contract year, and I'm going to go with George Pickens from the Dallas Cowboys. I think that's where we're going to go here. I like him a lot.
I think it's time for me to go quarterback here, and what better to go with a stack with Patrick Mahomes. I think that he's going to be on a revenge tour this year, especially how his season ended last year against the Eagles, and I think that every time the Chiefs lose, like they don't win the Super Bowl, they lose to the Bengals in the AFC Championship, they lose to Tampa in the Super Bowl. I mean, Mahomes comes back better. And I think that he has Hollywood Brown, Rasheed Rice, Xavier Worthy. They're gonna have someone else random there that Andy Reid will develop. Even Travis Kelce could be his final year, and I think that Patrick Mahomes is gonna have an MVP-like season. I think he could get around 40 total touchdowns there for Mr. Mahomes. And I like it with the stack with Rasheed Rice. So give me Patrick Mahomes as my quarterback off the board here.
Hey, Genoa, I'm curious. I want to throw you a question. How much do you weigh? Because I love it too. How much do you weigh trying to have like a stack in fantasy, having that quarterback wide receiver duo?
Honestly, I think this season it's very important because you look at these top guys, Justin, you got Jalen Hurts, you compare with A.J. Brown. You look at Jaden Daniels, you compare him with Terry McLaurin, Josh Allen. I know he's got some subpar receivers, but even like Lamar Jackson, you can get a Zay Flowers with him. And then Joe Burrow. I mean, if you can get Jamar in the first round, T in the third round, and you can get Joe Burrow, I mean, you are going to be absolutely unstoppable. And even here with Patrick Mahomes, his receivers are actually really good. You look at the depth chart there. So I think this season it's more than better than ever. And I'm a Texans fan, so even if you can get C.J. Stroud in like the 10th or 11th round, and like Trey, he got Nico Collins there. I think that's another fantastic stack that people aren't talking about. And even if you can get a Marvin Harrison and then wait all the way to like round 13 and maybe grab Kyler Murray as a backup, I think that's another fantastic stack that you get. I mean, I think stacks, the quarterback receiver stacks, could be really the reason how people can win the leagues for sure this year, Justin.
I love that. All right. I love that. Dad, you're up next.
Okay, you didn't snipe me again, which is great. Okay, I have 3 wide receivers. I got my quarterback. People think I'm going to do a tight end. I'm not. I'm going to go with, and I would say I want to go with 1 rookie running back, and I'm going to go with Caleb Johnson. He's going to take most of the load over. So
Johnson, I like it. All right, Coop.
No, I like Caleb Johnson a lot this year. Looking at my team, 3 receivers, 3 running backs. Still not going QB. Definitely not going tight end. I'm going to go for upside, and I'm going to go for Xavier Worthy.
yes.
Nice.
With Andy Reid, he doesn't love rookie receivers most of the time, especially like years past. I know Rashee Rice had a decent rookie year, but most of the time he doesn't love his rookie receivers, doesn't really get them as involved as they should have. But second year and above, I think Xavier Worthy is going to be more implemented in the offense, and I think he's just so talented that he's one of those guys you can get 7th, 8th round, and he's the potential to be number 1 receiver in KC just because of how talented and fast he is.
Yeah, and honestly, like, how can you, I mean, I'm not saying he is going to be, I don't project him to be, but how can you not get shades of Tyreek Hill and Kansas City vibes when you have somebody that fast and athletic? So I like it there.
Man, I'm sitting here. I'm between 4 guys. I am going to keep going running back receiver because, like Cooper said, I'm not a fan of the tight ends available. and I'm gonna wait a little bit on quarterback. But out of these guys, I think 2 of them are like being drafted at their floor, in my opinion, and I think they're really, really good steals, especially in this round. I think they could kind of. I'm gonna draft one guy that I think could be like a Cooper Cup in 2021. And you made a TikTok about him the other day, and I completely agree. It's Calvin Ridley. I think Calvin Ridley's in a chance for. He's not like, I'm not sure his exact age, but he's still in an age and a physical condition where he can still be super effective no matter who guards him. And I like him a lot. Got a lot of targets last year, and I think it's just going to be the same. Cam Moore is going to need a guy to go to right away. And with this next pick, since I drafted Ridley, I'm not going to draft the other 2, which are receivers. I'm going to go with another guy I think is being drafted at his floor. I heard on like a podcast the other day I was listening to that he has like an 8.6% usage rate last year and the year before he got hurt, and that's Pacheco. They do have Hunt, and I believe they have Elijah Mitchell, but
they did. Yeah, they did.
I just like where
he's not going to
Pacheco's been drafted.
Pacheco's the right pick. Yeah.
I think the backfield is what Pacheco, Kareem Hunt still kicking around, and then they added Mitchell and they drafted Rashard Smith, I think in the 7th, or he's even undrafted. So I think you're totally right. I mean, a guy who he was the RB10 in 2023, and then obviously had that injury last year that derailed the entire season. Definitely worth it. That 8th.
Yeah, but picking a number 1 running back in the 8th round.
Oh yeah, I love it. I agree.
Those are actually going to be the next 2 picks, Pacheco and Pollard, because I like Pollard, even though he's on the Titans team. I mean, he's the starter, and he had a pretty decent year last year. So I'm looking at receiver right now. I could draft Waddle, but I already have Tyreek Hill. Again, I'm not a huge fan of that Miami team next year. Travis Hunter's the interesting pick, but I mean, you don't know really how much he's going to play receiver, how much he's going to play corner, and then how much is that going to wear him off playing NFL level. So me, there's really only 2 options, and it's Chris Olave or Romeo Duse. And I'm going to go with the Dunze. And the reason that maybe a little bit of stretch, but coming off his 2nd year, new OC in Chicago. Yeah. Caleb Williams, as much as I hate the guy, I think he's pretty talented. And Dunze has the size to be a really good red zone threat. So, and I think that offense, they're going to really put him more involved and put him more like the 1v1 balls, kind of like a Mike Evans type of thing in the red zone. So,
yeah. Okay.
Right.
My
Dad, you're
got my 3 receivers, 3 running backs, my quarterback. I am looking at a tight end right now. There's so many good ones that you can pick, but I think this next round is going to be where tight ends will start going. So I want to go Kelsey, but he's old, and they got 2-3 good receivers still out there. That it might be his last year too, so he might do well. But I'm going to go with Sam Laporta. He did well for me his rookie year. He kind of fell off the 2nd year, but he'll do better this year. I like Laporta.
Yeah,
I'm also going tight in this round. I think those are my 2 picks I was looking at was Laporta as well as Mark Andrews. I like Mark Andrews here, so I'm going to go with him. I think that play that he had in Buffalo at the very end of the playoffs where he dropped the 2-point conversion, that's a play that can haunt you all offseason. I think that from there, I think that you can bounce back from that. When you have Lamar Jackson there throwing you the football, you have a really good team around you. John Harbaugh as the head coach, I think that Mark Andrews knows that Isaiah Likely is gunning for his spot, so I think that Mark Andrews is going to have sort of a revenge tour season as well.
Interesting. Yeah, the Mark Andrews to me is a tough one to grasp because I think he could, be that guy that is the touchdown guy, but then I don't know if you saw like the whole thing with Harbaugh saying that he expects Likely to be a Pro Bowler this season. I don't know if that's just coach speak or what, but I think he's an interesting player to work around. But anyway, we moved to me here with this tight end train. It's pushing me to want to go tight end, but there's also a wide receiver I kind of like, a guy who I just looked it up, a guy who had a higher boom game percentage than Justin Jefferson, than Amon-Ra St. Brown, than Brian Thomas, than Nico Collins, than Garrett Wilson, than Puka Nacua, then CeeDee Lamb, then Ladd McConkey. So this guy was able to have massive performances last season, and he does have a change at quarterback, but I expect it to be an upgrade, even though he's unproven, and that has me going with Jordan Addison for the Minnesota Vikings. I think I know he was kind of relying on touchdowns. He was a big play guy, but I'll take that in the 8th round. And then we move back to me here where I could go with a guy who I've been talking about a lot this offseason, Javonte Williams, or a guy in Jordan Mason who I think is very solid, or a guy in Travis Hunter who I think is very solid, but his chances of being off the field too much, being on defense, I mean, has me going away from him. And then there's tight ends. I think Hawkinson is solid. I did just pick Addison, so I might wait on tight end. And I'm actually going to look at that running back position here to finish out my running backs. And it's between Javonte and Jordan Mason. And I think that they both have tremendous upside. One has, Jordan Mason has Aaron Jones in the way, where to me, Javonte has nobody in the way. Only himself, really, if he's just not that good of a running back anymore. But I'm going to take the bet on a guy who I have gone out on a line for years now. I'm going to go with Javonte Williams.
That's a good pick.
All right. I think at this point, I'm going to need to get another maybe wide receiver or running back. So I'm looking over here. Running backs are looking wide receivers. Ugh.
Both.
Yeah. Let me go with I'm going to go with Cam Scatabo there, rookie running back for the Giants. I think that I love Tyrone Tracy, but there's a reason why the Giants drafted Scatabo, and I like what I saw out of him at Arizona State. I'm a UT guy, so obviously during the college football playoffs, I saw Scatabo run all over my Longhorns. And I like what I saw, and I think that maybe they can get things going here in New York with Scatabo.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I knew you were going to pick Scatabo. I knew it. And Justin, when you said Jordan Mason, I'm like, don't do it, because I've been picking Jordan Mason every mock draft this year. I'm going with Jordan Mason because I think here probably in the 4th, 5th week, he might take over the running back position over Jones. So Jordan Mason.
All right.
It's a good pick.
Yeah, I like him a lot too. I feel you.
All right. I've been looking at the tight end or QBs right now. And there's a couple QBs I like that I think have a lot of upside. I think Justin Fields has a lot of upside this year just because how he can the ball. But I'm going to take the guy that knows a gunslinger. And I'm going to take Baker Mayfield.
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
That pick too. That's a better pick, to be honest with you, for me.
Nice.
I want to pick this quarterback, and it's a mock draft, so why not? A lot of people don't like this guy, but I don't care. He has a new, very good receiver, and this is Dak Prescott. They just drafted Jaden Blue. You look at him. I mean, Jaden Blue in college, in my opinion, he was the best out of the backfield receiving-wise. I feel like that's exactly why they drafted him. So I'm going to take Dak Prescott here. I feel like he's going to have a bounce-back season, especially, like I said.
And adding Pickens, he's going to have a great season.
Yeah.
Great. That's a great pick, actually.
That's
I love
a great
that.
pick. And there's always that asterisk if he doesn't get hurt, but that's any player. So that's a good pick. He's to stay healthy. That's
And what some might deem a questionable trade with Justin last year, I did acquire a guy that I really enjoyed having on the team. And I think I'm just going to pick him because I liked him a lot. And he gets a lot of targets and he catches the ball and he can run with it. I'm taking David Njoku.
I love him too. I had him last year, Trey. That's a good pick.
I'm also going to take a tight end. And I'm going to take a guy that last year is coming back from ACL injury. And he didn't really have a great year, but also, I mean, he was just coming back from ACL and missed most of the year. And I'm going to trust that with the rookie QB, he's going to want to target the big fella. And I'm going to take TJ Hawkinson and trust him get back to that all-star, that Pro Bowler form.
That's great. That's who I was going to go with. So you stole him. Thank you for that.
Good. Okay, that's a good pick. I'm looking at a wide receiver now, and I was thinking Khalil Shakur, but he'll have 1 or 2 games good, and then he'll fall off, and you're saying, where is he at now? So I'm picking this tall wide receiver on a fairly new team that there's a lot of new players on, and it's going to be Jacoby Myers. He's going to pull it out this year. Guaranteed.
I like it.
Okay, I'm looking at some wide receivers here. I think there's a lot of good value in this round. I want to, Deebo Samuel, he kind of reminds me of, that girl you used to date, and then y'all see each other a year later, and it's like, maybe this could happen, and then you're just like, nah. So let me go with Jaden Reed, who I really like here. I think the Packers have the potential to, call me crazy, make the Super Bowl. They have some good talent around Jordan Love, and I got to give me another cheesehead on the team. So give me Jaden Reed, and he was one of the best receivers for Green Bay until they started getting confused. It's like, oh, should we throw it to Dobbs? Should we throw it to Christian Watson? He's probably going to be out for most of the year too. But just know that I was thinking Deebo Samuel, who just got picked. So I like Jaden Reed, though.
I like what you did there. I'm looking at quarterback now as kind of a space I need to be looking into, especially because I think now we've hit a tier where running backs are just not interesting to me anymore. And then if you look at wide receivers, there's a couple of guys. Same with the tight end room, but I'm going to go with the guy who he started out the year obviously slow, but I think once he hit his stride, he became a beast. And that happened around week 5, so I wanted to look into that. So from week 5 to the end of the year, he was the quarterback 5 on the season. And now you look at this year, he gets 2 upgrades at running back. He gets a wide receiver in the draft. He gets a tight end in free agency who was really good a couple of years ago. And I'm going to go with Bo Nix. Give me some Bo Nix. With Sean Payton, I think this is a year he could step up even more than he did last year. And then we look at my next pick here, and I think I'm going to stop this train of waiting on a tight end. So I got 2 options now. And now that I went Bo Nix, I'm kind of interested in doing somewhat of a stack with Evan Ingram. That would be interesting to me. But there's also Travis Kelce, who, if you look at Kelce last year, obviously it was not a great year. Everybody's saying, man, he really lost a step. And he's dropped off big time. And you wouldn't be wrong with that. You wouldn't be wrong with that assumption. But I think something tells me it's kind of what Jano stated a little earlier. I think that this team's going to be a little bit out for revenge. They're actually a hungry team. They're no longer the hunted team. They're the hunters now, trying to get that championship back. And that's what's going to make me go with Travis Kelce here.
I like that pick.
Good pick.
All right, man. There's a couple of ways I can go. I mean, should I get another running back or should I get another quarterback? I would say, I'm looking at these quarterbacks, and just in case, Justin, that Mahomes actually flops, like he's kind of done these last seasons where the Chiefs are winning by a field goal and he's not really doing good on the fantasy world. I can always go to a guy like, let me double check if they don't have the same bye week here. So I got Patrick Mahomes, whose bye week is, I want to say, is week 10. And this guy, let me see. See, there's 2 guys that I like, but let me go with Caleb Williams here. His bye week is 5, so I'm feeling good that maybe if things don't work out Mahomes, I think that Caleb Williams can just, sling it all over the field. He's got Roma Dunze. He's got DJ Moore. I think they draft Luther Burton as well, Justin. And they also have, I like their tight ends. They got Cole Kmet, and then they drafted, what was the Michigan guy they got? Was it the Michigan guy? Colston Love. And so I think that, Caleb Williams has got a loaded, offensive cast around him. So give me Caleb Williams as my backup quarterback just in case things don't really work out well with Mahomes.
That's a great pick.
Good pick. All right. Again, you didn't snipe me, which is great. And I'm glad you picked Reed because I'm going to pick his counterpart. And this guy is going to probably do better than Reed. And it's going to be Matthew Golden.
I love me some Longhorns, so I would agree with that.
I'm going to take a guy that a couple years ago was one of the best running backs in the league. I'm going to take Austin Eckler. The reason for that is Robinson, in my opinion, is going to be the main back in Washington, especially going into year 3. But if he gets hurt, Eckler as a backup can be an RB1 when Robinson's hurt, just because of the production level and this Commander's offense. It's going to be legit this year.
With my next pick, I was thinking about just a little bit ago, either wide receiver or running back. But looking at it, I kind of like the depth I have at running back a little bit better, just because I think I know I have 4 running back ones, and I feel like that's a good thing. So I just pick receiver here, and I'm going to pick Keon Coleman.
Yeah,
I think that he still's got a lot of potential. I think that he could emerge as the 1 receiver this year again. He's got Josh Allen thrown to him. It's not the worst situation to be in as an athletic receiver, so I'm going to go ahead and pick him. And with my next pick, what I'm going to do is kind of like Genoa said, I'm going to do the CJ Stroud pair up with Nico Collins. That's also, I do think people are overreacting a little bit about a kind of down year in year 2. And, I mean, obviously, the O-line situation isn't the best situation, but I think CJ Stroud's a good enough quarterback and competitor to just make it happen. I mean, I don't know if y'all saw Peyton Manning talking on that panel about CJ Stroud. I mean, this guy's already won 2 playoff games. He knows how to win. He knows how to get it done. I trust him to be, at minimum, a great backup.
And plus the 2 new receivers he has.
I like the 2 rookies.
3 new receivers.
Yeah, 3 new. Christian Kirk, he still got Schultz there.
Noel and Higgins.
He's a speedster too. He's pretty good.
Yeah. Look at Team 4 though. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Dude,
Cooper.
that's what I was saying, man.
Yeah, hold up.
Insane.
I was like 6 straight receivers, bro. So that's not gonna happen.
He's got He got Brian Thomas too, so he's got
Oh,
7 total.
All right.
Bro, I think they're
Well,
too
I was
good.
thinking about getting my last receiver, and there's 2 guys I'm looking at. Yes, they're getting up there in age, but I think both of them are on new teams. Cooper Cup again, another guy. He's injured a lot, but when he's on the field, you know what you're gonna get from him. And I do like him being the number 2 receiver in Seattle, but I'm gonna pick Diggs. And the reason for that is because in New York, I think Drake May can have a breakout year because last year at towards the end of the season, he really started getting in groove. And there's a chance, not for certain, but there's a chance that Diggs can be that number 1 receiver in New England. Been looking for him the last couple of years, and May's go-to guy. It's just upside. There's a lot of upside here with Diggs, in my opinion, in this round.
I think, yeah, Cooper, you and Trey have done it perfectly. These late round picks are all about upside, and you both nailed them. I love it.
And he will be number 1 receiver in New England for sure.
Yeah.
I think so.
Poke.
That was a good pick. I'm going to be the first person to go ahead and handcuff my running back Connor because he is injury prone, hurt the last 3 years, and I'm going with Trey Benson.
Damn it, I was gonna get him.
He gets hurt, Benson to get it back. So that's
You
Hey,
finally
Dad,
sniped
Dad,
me. Took you
you
to
know-
what, round 12?
1. He did 2
You
or
know
3
what's
on me.
interesting?
So let me snipe.
And you know what's interesting? He's played 8 seasons in his career, and he's never had a full NFL season. James Conner, so he is bound to miss games.
When he's on the field, he's great. But just in case, and then Benson will take over, and he could take the load too. Benson will take the load.
Yeah. Finally, you sniped me in this draft. I'm gonna go with the guy who took some load off Christian McCaffrey last year. I know they had Jordan Mason, who also got hurt, and I like Isaac Guriendo there. A good handcuff there. Christian McCaffrey does get hurt. Guriendo has shown a lot of flashes. He isn't what's the head coach here for San Francisco? I'm thinking about here. Shanahan. Yeah, Shanahan is a really good running head coach. They have a good running system there. So just in case something does happen to McCaffrey, I do like Guriendo there.
And that was a good pick because I was going to pick Guriendo if I had McCaffrey. So if I had McCaffrey, I would pick Guriendo for sure. So but that was a good pick. So
yes,
I think Cooper should have picked that Guriendo.
Yeah, I was thinking about him.
For me here, it's between literally 2 guys, and I'm really hoping I can pick one and still get the other and the other way around. And the 2 guys are Evan Ingram and Ricky Pearsall. Evan Ingram being, obviously, if Kelsey doesn't pan out, I could go with Evan Ingram, who I think is a really solid play. And I think this is also a tip for drafters, in your next month when you start drafting. It's important to look at the teams drafting around you. What do they need? Where do you think they'll go? And that's why I scrolled up on the draft board here, because I see that Team 2 took Brock Bowers, so I don't think they're going to go tight end. But Team 1 could go tight end, so it makes it difficult. And then when I look at Ricky Pearsall, I look at Team 1, and they just picked 4 straight wide receivers, one of which being Juwan Jennings. And then Team 2 could pick a wide receiver. So it really makes it tough here. I think I'm going to go for more of the upside play, though, and that's going to lead me to Ricky Pearsall. Obviously, Team 1 did pick a tight end, but not the one I wanted. But Pearsall, obviously, he had the tough situation where he got shot and then he got injured. But now he steps into an offense that doesn't have Deebo Samuel anymore. Brandon Ayuk's going to miss, I guarantee you, at least 4 weeks, probably more if I were to guess. So then you have Pearsall, Kittle, and Juwan Jennings. So he could definitely carve out a role there. And so that, obviously, now it pans out exactly how I wanted it to, and I'm going to get Evan Ingram there to stack with Bo Nix and be a good tight end duo, which I could play whatever one I want.
Okay. Okay. How about this? I'm gonna go with the Baltimore Ravens defense. I think that they actually might be the best fantasy defense this year. They made a lot of additions there. I know they have to play Cincinnati twice, but I think that they can really shut down. They do play Cleveland twice. I think that, I'm a Texans fan. I think that they can, we only scored 2 points against them on Christmas, and their defense is phenomenal that week. I just think that they're primed to win the Super Bowl, and I think that they can have a Denver Broncos, like no fly zone in 2015 type of season. I just think that they've been building this defense for years. They got Harbaugh there. I love me some Baltimore Ravens this year. Let me get that first defense off the board.
I have a question for you now because you did pick Baltimore, and I do agree that they're going to be improved. But what are your thoughts with them starting their season at Buffalo Sunday Night Football?
I do agree that like that is a tough matchup. I just think, I could if I can make room, I'll probably stream a defense. I know your defense is about to start getting picked. I know that is tough, but if I can figure out a way, I think I have a good roster so far. Maybe I can make room for a second defense and kind of just piggy it back and forth there. But after that first week, I think that they can just take off from there, though.
Agree. All right.
Okay. I was going that way too for a defense, but I'm going to go ahead and pick the Denver Broncos to do the defense here. Get that.
I was thinking Denver, but they have to play Kansas City twice and then the Chargers twice. They could be good,
Look what hurts. Look what Philadelphia and the Eagles did to him. So he can get sacked. He's not as much as a runner as he used to be. But.
Yeah, see, wasn't able to get the backup for CMC, but I won't get the backup for Harvey. And I'm going to pick a guy, J.K. Dobbins, that if he's given the opportunity and he can stay healthy. I mean, last year in the Chargers, he had a great year when he was finally healthy for once. So if he's able to have the opportunity again, he's going to take the most of it, especially in that Broncos offense, who is just ready to take off.
That's a great pick. I love Dobbins.
Yeah, even though I like Njoku. Oh, sorry, what was that?
No, I just I love his pick.
I was going to say, even though I like Njoku, I mean, I'm not the most comfortable with that. And I think we've seen a trend in fantasy last 2 years. It was Laporta. Last year it was Bowers. So I'm going to go ahead and take a rookie tight end that was honestly just pretty great in college, and he's in Indianapolis. I'm going to take Tyler Warren.
Good pick.
Tight end. And then I'll go ahead and I'll polish off. Actually, no. Give me the Texans defense.
Love it. Tough. Love that.
Yeah,
Love
it. They're a good defense. I'm telling
you.
They're
going to be good. Yeah.
They're top.
They're going to get a lot of turnovers and a lot of sacks.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope so, Trey. I'm a Texans fan. I can't pick Texans, but I hope they do. I'm praying they do.
Yeah, I like your idea about the rookie tight end because, again, like you said, the last couple of years, we've seen a rookie tight end pop off. And I'm going to pick the other first-round pick tight end, Loveland.
Yeah, Loveland. I was going to
got sniped. I was going to go with
pick Loveland.
Yeah. I got sniped.
Yeah, he even got picked before Warren.
Yeah.
Make it
with the new OC and Ben Johnson there in Chicago, they're not going to pick a tight end that early in the first round. They're not going to plan on using him a ton in that new offense.
Okay.
Ben Johnson knows about that too.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I had Laporta's rookie year. He blew it up. He number one tight end, I think, that year.
Yeah,
he was. Yeah. And now you got another rookie tight end with Ben Johnson. I could totally see the upside there.
Great. All right. Well, I usually don't do this, but since everyone's going to start picking up their defense and kicker their last 2 rounds, I'm going to go and pick the number 1 kicker in Aubrey.
You took
Get that
Aubrey.
out of the way.
I'll go ahead and follow the trend and get a Longhorn kicker. That I'm going to go with Cameron Dicker. Dicker the kicker.
Kicker. All right. For me here, I'm going to look at – I kind of want a backup quarterback, but I also could dive into the defense of realm here. And I'm going to go defense here because I think there's actually like 3 quarterbacks that I would like as my backup quarterback. So I can – if team 1 or 2 snipes one of the quarterbacks, it'll just make it an easier decision for me. And so I'm going to go with the Steelers defense. They start their season against the New York Jets. So I think that's going to be prime for TJ Watt to get a bunch of sacks. Hopefully newly added cornerback Jalen Ramsey can do something as well. Now we move back to me here where I could go kicker, but I think I'm going to reserve that for my last pick. And so that brings me to quarterback, which I think will be the interesting discussion here because there are 2 guys I'm considering because I want to go upside with this backup quarterback play. That's why guys like Purdy, Herbert, Jordan Love, they're all in this area. But I'm actually going to look at 2 other guys who I think have the upside to be top 10, top 7, top 8 quarterbacks this year. And that is between Drake May and J.J. McCarthy. I think both guys, obviously Drake stepping into his second year as the starter. J.J. was drafted last year but missed all of the season. But J.J. comes into a system where Kevin O'Connell, one of the best offensive minds in the league, just had Sam Darnold at a quarterback 8 season last year. You got Justin Jefferson, you got Jordan Addison, you got TJ Hawkinson, you got Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. Even that guy, Jalen Naylor, was scoring like 6 to 8 touchdowns last year. So I think I'm going to lean the way of J.J. McCarthy with that system he's got around him. I think to expect him to have a year like Sam Darnold is not out of the realm. And I think you could even expect him to be better than that. So I'm going to go with JJ here.
And if he doesn't do well, you can always drop him and pick another quarterback.
Yeah.
So it's not your first number one quarterback. So that's
I feel like picking a rookie here. I'm gonna go with Jaden Blue. I need another Longhorn there, and I think that maybe he could take over for the Dallas Cowboys as their next, star running back. I think it's gonna take some time. I think if he does, it'll probably be around week 6 to week 8 range, and when it does, I'll be ready to go. There could be a chance that maybe I might be going through some injuries on my team, so I like Jaden Blue there.
Solid, very solid. This year, I'm telling you, the quarterback class is very deep, very deep.
Yeah.
I mean, you could even wait to this time to pick up your first quarterback, to be honest with you. Because both, if you go back-to-back quarterback, they're both like average. They're going to get you some great weeks.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the list now. I only have one quarterback now, and I'm looking at who's going to throw more. And I love Herbert this year. I really do. I think he's going to handle. I'm going to go give him one more chance. Jordan Love. I had him last year, and he just stabbed in the back. But I'm going.
Same here.
I'm going Jordan Love.
Jordan Love off the board.
No, I like that pick. I think this year again, like you were just saying, you can get Jordan Love and Justin Herbert this time and just be fine.
Yeah, you can trade on the quarterback.
I'm going to look at defense right now. I'm usually the type of guy that picks defense last round because I usually never use the same defense any week. I look at who the worst team is and who they go against.
Yeah.
But kind of similar strategy. I'm going to pick a team that, in my opinion, is in the weakest division. Even though the Bills have Ravens week 1, they have a tough schedule. They're still going to go against the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Patriots 2 times a year each. And I think that's the weakest division, in my opinion. So I'm going to take the Bills.
With my final running back pick, obviously I think there's more, I guess, reliable guys in this guy. But, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick Alvin Kamara's backup. They did just pick Devin Neal. I'm going to go ahead and take Kendre Miller for the last running back. And then polish it off with kicker. Let's just go take a look. I can't get too many Texans.
I think
I'll just go Detroit.
Hey, Fairburn, you can't pass up Fairburn. He was like top 3.
He burns. He burns. Fairburn burns you. I like Bates better.
Yeah, Bates is good too.
See, me, I like Fairbear.
Yeah,
I think besides Aubrey, I think he's the best kicker out there. Especially the Texans offense. Texans are going to get some drives. They're a good offense. They're not like a top, my opinion, they're not like a top 5 offense. They're not the type of offense every time they get the ball, they're going to score a touchdown. They're a big threat to score a touchdown. But they are good enough to get into that 40, 50-yard range very often. So I like Fairbear a lot.
That's very good. Like once I said quarterbacks are deep this year, very deep. I also really believe that tight end is very deep. So look at my last tight end. I'm picking up Jake Ferguson. I mean, that's great.
Solid.
That is a good pick.
That could be your first pick or your first.
I'm gonna also go with a tight end here. I only have one. It's Mark Andrews. How about Hunter Henry? I think he can work well in New England with Drake May. Drake May is going to need someone to dump it off to there. He's going to be possibly under pressure. And Hunter Henry has shown flashes there since he's been in New England. I think that's going to be potentially Drake May's best friend there in New England.
All right. It's up to me. This is the toughest selection I've had to make all draft with my kicker. Super tough here. With this last one here, I am actually looking at a couple things. It's not like a deep strategy with kickers, but you want to go with guys that are consistent, obviously, and that brings in Chase McLaughlin, who I really like.
Oh, yeah.
He was really solid for last year. I like him. And the only other guy I'm actually kind of considering is a guy who's actually somewhat lower on at least Fantasy Pros, is Will Reichard for the Vikings. He was super accurate last year. And if you look at them, they are a solid offense that will – they'll get in field goal range. They're not the best offense where they're scoring every drive. But if you also look at their schedule here, they only have 4 games that are outdoors. So they play in a dome, all home games. We don't have to worry about weather. but then they also only have 4 of their road games are actually against people that are that play outdoors. So that makes me want to go with Will Reichard here, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick him. I don't know why this is making it. All right, there we go. Will Reichard will be my pick to end the draft. And it did not go well for my grade with Fantasy Pros. I have 78.
What'd you
Let's
get?
see if everybody else is real
Dude,
quick.
I got a terrible grade. I got a C minus 70.
I got 86. I got a B.
I got 85. Lots got 92.
Interesting. Okay, so
What'd you get, Genoa?
I got 73 as well.
So the best of all of us was Zukru, was Victor. So Dween Nation, please drop your comments and your thoughts on this mock draft here. Did Zukru have the best draft? Did JPay probably have the best draft? You can discuss it down below. And just continue supporting Dween Sports. Find us on TikTok. And keep watching here on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Music, whatever you use to listen to us. But thank you guys for listening. Our guests, thank you guys for joining us again. We will have you on more and more as much as we can, and especially since the season is ramping up closer and closer, that means more and more content from Doing Sports here. So thank you guys for listening, and Genoa, send us out.
Yo, Dewey Nation, this was our mock draft of the week. We got many, many more into the season kickoff, so definitely stick with us there. We love you guys. Thank you for watching, and as always, peace.
Peace.